This man walked into duels knowing one thing. If he made a single mistake, he would die instantly. And yet, he kept walking into them anyway. No army behind him, no master guiding him, just a sword and a strange obsession with testing himself against the most dangerous warriors in Japan. And somehow, he never lost. Not once. But what made Miyamoto Musashi terrifying wasn't just his skill with a blade, it was the way he broke his opponents before the fight even began. Because Musashi understood something most warriors never realized. The real battle is decided in the mind, long before steel ever meets steel. And in the next few minutes, you'll see how a violent, wandering swordsman became the most feared duelist in Japanese history, and why, even centuries later, his methods are still studied as the art of winning without mercy. No mercy, and he never lost. Not once. Some people called him a monster, others called him the greatest samurai who ever lived. His name is Miyamoto Musashi. But what made Miyamoto Musashi truly dangerous was not just his sword, it was his mind. Because Musashi understood something most warriors never learned. The real battle begins before the sword is even drawn. And by the end of this story, you'll understand why centuries later, people still study the man who defeated fear itself. This is not just another samurai story. This is the story of a wild, lonely boy who transformed himself into a living legend, a man who slept in forests, fought enemies larger than armies, walked away from death again and again, and eventually discovered that winning every battle still could not satisfy the human soul. This is the rise, the battles, and the philosophy of Miyamoto Musashi. Musashi was born in Japan around the late 1500s, during one of the bloodiest periods in Japanese history. War was everywhere. Entire villages disappeared overnight. Samurai clans fought endlessly for power. Children grew up hearing steel clash before they learned to read. But Musashi's childhood was different from most. He wasn't raised like a noble samurai. He grew up rough, unpolished, aggressive. People described him as wild-looking, dirty, even frightening. Some stories say other children avoided him, others say adults feared his temper. But inside that difficult child was something unusual, an obsession with strength, not fame, not honor, strength. And that obsession would shape the rest of his life. Most 13-year-olds today worry about school. Musashi fought a grown man to a wandering swordsman arrived in his village one day, challenging anyone brave enough to fight him. Nobody stepped forward until Musashi did. A skinny teenager. No legendary sword, no armor, just rage and courage. The duel was brutal. Musashi attacked with terrifying aggression, knocking the man down and beating him until he died. And just like that, a child crossed a line he could never uncross. From that moment forward, Musashi belonged to violence. But instead of frightening him, victory awakened something inside him. He wanted more. As he grew older, Musashi began wandering across Japan alone. No army, no master, no permanent home, just a sword at his side and an endless hunger to test himself. Back then, duels were deadly serious. There were no referees, no rules. When two swordsmen met, one usually never walked away, and Musashi kept walking away, again and again and again. Word began spreading across Japan. People whispered about a strange warrior with untidy hair and cold eyes. A man who fought unpredictably. A man who didn't care about tradition. A man who could kill elite samurai using techniques nobody understood. While other warriors focused on elegance, Musashi focused on survival. He studied human fear, human hesitation, human pride. He realized something important. Most fighters lose the battle inside their minds before the fight even begins. And Musashi became a master at attacking the mind first. One day, Musashi challenged the powerful Yoshioka clan. This was not just one swordsman, it was an entire famous fighting school. Defeating them would be almost impossible, but Musashi accepted anyway. First, he defeated one of their masters, then another. Humiliated and furious, the clan prepared revenge. This time, they planned a trap. Hundreds of warriors gathered secretly to ambush him. They believed no single man could survive. But Musashi arrived early, hid quietly, and watched them prepare. He understood immediately. This was no duel. This was an execution. So Musashi did something terrifying. Instead of panicking, he attacked first. He struck so suddenly and violently that confusion exploded among the warriors before they could fully react. Musashi escaped into the chaos and disappeared. That moment became legendary, not because he killed the most enemies, but because he proved intelligence could defeat overwhelming numbers. Musashi wasn't just strong anymore. He was evolving into something else entirely, a strategist. Then came the duel that made him immortal, the fight against Sasaki Kojiro. Kojiro was famous across Japan, elegant, highly skilled, respected by nobles, everything Musashi was not. The duel would happen on a small, isolated island. Crowds gathered to witness history. And then Musashi didn't show up. Hours passed. People grew angry. Kojiro grew furious. Finally, Musashi arrived late, calm, relaxed, as if the duel meant nothing. But the lateness was intentional. Musashi wanted Kojiro angry, impatient, emotional, because an emotional warrior makes mistakes. Then the duel began. Kojiro attacked first with terrifying speed, but Musashi moved faster. One strike. That was all. Kojiro. Silence covered the island. The greatest duel in Japan was over almost instantly, and Musashi walked away alive. Once again, undefeated, the loneliest victory. But something strange began happening afterward. Musashi kept winning, yet he became quieter, more reflective, almost haunted. Because eventually, endless fighting changes a person. Imagine spending years expecting every morning. Imagine never fully trusting anyone. Imagine carrying memories of every duel, every face, every body that never stood up again. Musashi began withdrawing from the world. He spent more time alone. He studied painting, meditation, philosophy, nature. For the first time in his life, he started searching for something deeper than victory. And maybe that was the hardest battle he ever faced. The Book of Five Rings. At the end of his life, Musashi entered a cave and began writing. Not about famous battles, not about revenge, but about mastery, discipline, strategy, human nature. The result became one of the most famous strategy books ever written, The Book of Five Rings. But what makes the book powerful is this: it's not really about swords, it's about life. Musashi believed every challenge follows the same principles, whether in war, business, sports, or survival. The person who controls their emotions controls the battle. He taught that fear clouds judgment, ego creates weakness, comfort destroys growth, and discipline creates freedom. Centuries later, military leaders, athletes, entrepreneurs, and martial artists still study his ideas. Because human nature has not changed much since Musashi's time. People still panic, still hesitate, still let emotion defeat logic. And that is exactly why Musashi's lessons survived history. Musashi's story is not really about becoming unbeatable, it's about mastering yourself. Because the truth is, most battles in life are invisible. The battle against fear, against distraction, against weakness, against giving up when things become difficult. Musashi understood that true strength is not loud, it is calm, controlled, focused. The greatest warrior in Japan eventually realized that defeating others means very little if you cannot defeat your own mind. And maybe that's why his story still survives after hundreds of years. Not because he carried a sword, but because he learned how to carry discipline through chaos. In a world full of noise, Musashi became dangerous by mastering silence, and perhaps that is the real secret behind legends. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more powerful stories from ancient history, legendary warriors, fallen empires, and forgotten civilizations. Because history is not just about the past. Sometimes it explains the world we live in today.